Yeah, I wish we just had hung a little bit more out there.
Yeah, well, it's funny you bring that up. Somebody on your crew, like well into the tour, commented like, "Oh, I didn't realize you guys were driving yourself. Like we were still in a van."
Oh my, that's
so somebody
right.
thought we didn't care to hang out because like we weren't into it or something. No, we just, to keep up with your tour buses, we had to leave as soon as we got off stage.
2021, you guys were in a van, and now there's 7 CMAs, 6 ACMs, an Entertainer of the Year, a Grammy. You played on the new record. You probably have an awesome drum tech. People are throwing gear at you. They're like, "Here's a jacket, kid. Throw this jacket on. Wear it on stage."
This is the Rich Redmond Show.
So, Tim, I was thinking, what should we kind of kibitz and talk about today? And then I noticed that you were wearing yet another Carhartt shirt, but it's in a different color, olive green, which is very
You like it, right?
flattering.
Yeah.
It's good.
I just go to the Tractor Supply and pick them out
I
sometimes.
was just wondering if you bulk purchased where you have one for every day of the week.
The thing is, it looks good.
Yeah.
It's durable. Okay. Check them out at tractorsupply.com. Go to your local Tractor Supply and get your
We're fishing
Carhartt.
for sponsors, right?
Might
'Cause
as well.
We're sponsorless right now.
I hear Tractor Supply has money for that kind of thing. We could use some of that money. And Tractor Supply, we'd love some of your money.
I was listening to some old episodes where we had, Angie and Kelly McCride and the School of Rock were sponsoring things, and you produced the ads, and there's some pro level stuff. Buddy.
It's like when in Wayne's World, when everything was sponsored.
Oh
movie.
Yeah.
It's like, I just cracked open another bottle of Pure Life water.
Will you stop?
For some reason, I have 2 open bottles next to me, and I opened up another one. So, Pure Life for when you want purity in life.
I like how you're breaking the fourth wall and looking right into the camera too. And so this is a new thing that we're trying to start. Obviously, we have begun the episode of the Rich Redmond Show. It's usually very exciting. We talk about things like music, motivation, and success. Those are the 3 things that come up without fail. But today, we have had the Grant Cardones on. We have had the Victoria Jacksons
Brad
on.
Lee.
We've had Brad Lee on, which I read his book. It's good.
The Hard Way.
The Hard Way.
Yeah.
Lessons he's learned in life the hard way, so you don't have to.
That's right.
And so I've been enjoying that with my morning coffee, and we've had on guys like Huey Lewis.
Right.
Great stuff. But people want to know about drummers because, this is the songwriting capital of the world, Nashville, Tennessee. Someone's writing a hit song right now. But without that drummer to bake the cake, to build the foundation, this is just poetry swimming around the ether.
Swimming around the uterus.
We make things happen. So let's get into it. I'm really excited for this young man today. And hailing from Laurel, Maryland, apparently it's 20 minutes from D.C., big city boy, celebrating 10 years in Nashville. I met him really early on. We were on tour together in 2021. He is the touring and recording drummer for the award-winning country recording artist Lainey Wilson. Look at this, 7 CMAs, 6 ACMs. She's a Grammy winner. Entertainer of the Year, and this was all in under 5 years. Our friend Matt Nolan, what's up, buddy?
Hey, man. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming. You're so punctual.
Oh, I appreciate that. I live just a bit away from here. So.
You're in the Herm.
Exactly.
That's what me, Kurt, and Tilla used to call it because we have rented and shared many a band house in Hermitage and Donaldson.
Yeah,
and it was great. Because in those days, we were flying so much, and you're right by the airport.
It's fantastic on fly dates. I'm just there. It's a very quick Uber ride.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a part of town it seems like more and more cats are ending up in.
But are you in a band house, or are you all grown up now by yourself?
No. My fiance Fallon and I have a house.
All right.
I've been there for about 4 years. So
this is great.
Nice.
So congratulations
almost completed
on
the transition away from band house living.
Fiancéing. Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
When
Thank
you guys, is it like a loose date or?
No, we're set, and we're inside a month now. It's
Oh my God.
Yeah, March 29th.
So March 20. I didn't get an invitation, but
you know, Rich. Neither did I.
No, it's a thing, man. You know what? It's like. I get it because, just call me Ross. I'm the divorce guy. I believe in love. I keep getting married. But you've got to feed these people. You've got to, and God forbid the cash bar. I get the cash bar though, because this is like, a bunch of musicians,
Hey,
drunks.
you have to rock the cash bar.
Rock the cash bar. Give me some kadapsh. All right, nice. So are you keeping it intimate?
Yes. Trying to keep it small.
Yep.
It ended up working out to where we actually got a Saturday.
Nice. And did you clear it with Miss Wilson? So it was like, hey, we're not going to add something. And
have to.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
To the best of her ability.
right.
You've been married while you were with Jason.
Yep.
You went through a wedding. You're about to go through one. Do you invite your boss? Is that?
Yeah, absolutely. Invite your boss.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So it's like, when I moved to Vegas in 2001, I was there 3 months before my wife and I got married. And my boss was like, I'm not invited. I'm like, dude, I just moved here 3 months ago. I just met you. And he's like, I'd still like to be invited. I'm like, I'm sorry. I'll think about that next time. I'm 25. I don't know any better. Plus, it's 2,000 miles away.
Awkward.
Sure, you're invited. If you can make it, we'll have you.
Hey, you know what? I got to tell you, Jim, I tell you
Did
guys.
you invite Jason?
I'll tell you off camera.
Okay.
I'll tell you off camera, but there is a wedding happening very soon with one of my students. And I have mentored this kid for like 15 years. I did not get an invitation.
Wow,
It seems
really?
a little like things that make you go, what did I do?
Yeah, but did you invite Jason to your wedding when the last marriage?
Oh, with
Cindy.
Trying to think what our marriage was like. I remember the
I mean, he hosted your engagement party at his house. I would think that you probably invited him.
dude, I'm blanking, man.
Really?
Yeah, I really am.
Wow.
All I've got is your student might have assumed you're just busy
Yeah.
because you are so busy.
Let's go with that.
That makes everyone feel better.
Oh my God. So you know what? I think you're a delightful guy. I have a little guilt because when you were out on the road with us in 2021, I think that I was still carrying around this weird, I had a rough time in COVID, like mentally.
Okay.
And emotionally.
Yeah, as we all did.
It was rough for me. And some people were just like, dude, it's fine, man. I wrote my best songs during that period. It was great. It's like, man, I went through most of it in Los Angeles and it was like a zombie apocalypse. It was so intense and so strict. And it just got in my mind. And so when we were getting back on the road in 21, we were still scrubbing up and testing up. And yeah, I wish we just had hung a little bit more out there.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you bring that up. Somebody on your crew, like well into the tour, commented like, "Oh, I didn't realize you guys were driving yourself. Like we were still in a van."
Oh my, that's
so somebody
right.
thought we didn't care to hang out because like we weren't into it or something. No, we just, to keep up with your tour buses, we had to leave as soon as we got off stage.
2021, you guys were in a van,
Yeah.
and now there's 7 CMAs, 6 ACMs, an Entertainer of the Year, a Grammy. You played on the new record. You probably have an awesome drum tech. People are throwing gear at you. They're like, here's a jacket, kid. Throw this jacket on. Wear it on stage.
Jacket, yes. Drums, no. But
Not yet.
you know.
Well, you're a Sonar guy.
Yeah, I'm with Sonar and happy to be. They've been great. They've been very helpful.
Nice.
But yeah.
But we talked about that yesterday on another episode, that Sonar is really going on the offense.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
they're getting aggressive.
They're getting offensive.
So I've noticed, I'm not privy to any insider information, but
Well,
I've noticed some additions.
KHS,
It's exciting.
KHS it's Mapeg's KHS Sonar, right? So is it one of your go-to guys, Henry Go?
Henry is my Sonar artist relations
Okay,
guy.
so
Yeah.
I know Henry. So
He's the best.
I'm going to text Henry right after this thing. Because Henry and I were like drinking buddies at the Red Door for like a decade
Okay.
when he was working at Innovative Percussion.
Well, in a past life, you played Sonar, right?
I did for a decade.
Right.
Yeah. And I loved all the drums. I had the S class, I had the lights, and I
SQ2.
had the SQ2s.
Or SQ1. Was it SQ1?
SQ2.
SQ2.
And the only kit that I kept the S class kit, 22-inch kick, 12/16, and I recorded that "Are You Gonna Kiss Me or Not" 2011 Thompson Square song on it. It's kind of like a little piece of country music history.
What's their Highline like flagship
SQ2, right?
Is
The
it SQ2?
yeah. Well, this
Interesting.
particular year, it's this anniversary series, but ordinarily the SQ2.
Because, Mercedes has an S-Class, and it's the flagship of the brand.
Yes.
So I'm
there's
wondering if-
another interesting connection to Mercedes there. They made these drums in the 70s and 80s called the phonic, the ferromanganese snares.
Yes.
And apparently it
real
was
heavy.
the same metal that Mercedes made the hood ornaments out of.
Really?
Yeah. They
Interesting.
sourced the metal in the exact same place.
Wonder if they have a kinship.
Well, other than both being German.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they
Yeah.
by chance looking for a one-off guy to endorse for a Huey Lewis and the News tribute act?
That sounds like exactly what they're looking for.
That's what they're looking for.
So
Awesome.
Jim is in a Huey Lewis tribute band, and they
right.
are playing May 28th at the
right.
City Winery.
That's
At the
awesome.
City Winery.
And me and about 10 other drummers are going to have a giant, like, Last Supper type table.
That's right.
And we're going to drink wine and eat pizza and watch you.
Sit there, judge me, and laugh.
No judging, but
That's right.
That's a tough book, man. He's got this one song. It's 12 minutes. It's a 12-minute medley with a bunch of pushes and figures, and it goes into Boys Are Back of Town. There's a 16-bar drum solo, and then he's got to go back into.
Like a New Orleanian type of shuffle.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
And Jim doesn't play all the time. You know what I mean? But he's getting back into it
Yeah.
for his 50th birthday.
rusty. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're 3 months out from it.
Hey, so you're not a girl, so I can ask you how old you are.
Correct on both fronts. I'm 36.
Okay, yeah, because the girls don't like that. So 36, that is a great time. I would say it's a great time in a man's life. I had a great time between 36 and like 46. Great window. Great things were happening. It was a very enjoyable time. So
I agree. Work life has been good. Home life is great.
Yeah.
Enjoying some things that have come from all the hard work up to this point.
Yeah.
So yeah, it does feel good.
well, good, man. It's
36 is going okay.
soak it up. So before you connected with Lainey, you spent some time with Maggie Rose. I love her, them vibes. And then the Morrison Brothers Band. Tell us about that, because I have some experience with the Morrison Brothers Band. Do I not?
You do, yeah. The Morrison Brothers Band was a country rock band my brother and I were in.
Yep.
And that was a band we moved to Nashville with.
Right.
And for those of you listening, I first met Rich. We were writing songs. I don't know how much of that you're still doing. I'm not personally doing a ton.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's tough.
at that time,
I
we
did it for
we
5
both
years,
were.
solid.
Yeah. And yeah, so we got introduced and met on a songwriting appointment.
That's right.
So yeah, that was really
It
something.
was fun. We got to go back and maybe find the song we wrote that day.
I'm sure if I look hard enough in these old drop boxes,
Yeah.
I could probably pull it out.
Yeah, I'm wondering if there's a iPhone recorder demo.
I do, and I remember you brought your
Djembe.
hand drum. Yeah, your djembe.
Yeah.
That was the percussion on the work tape.
I love it because you can make it sound like a kick and a snare, and then once you get that iPhone recorder out, it compresses it delightfully.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I would say it's hard to keep both of those worlds alive. So I had my publishing deal for 5 years, and my buddies Kurt and Tully, they kind of kept going with it.
Yeah.
And I asked to not up my deal again. But you're at a point where you don't need a deal. You can just write great songs and you have great relationships.
Yeah, I would say where it's ended up is I wouldn't want a publisher to feel like they didn't have my focus. And while there was a time in my life where I was aggressively pursuing a publishing deal, it doesn't seem offhand like a publisher would feel like they were getting the most of me.
Well, because you only have 3
At this
days a week to
moment.
play with.
Yeah, we still write, situationally it makes sense. And we've written with Lainey here and there,
Yeah. Well, that is really smart, because either that or you're writing in the room next to her and she hears something she likes and you're like, hey,
Yeah.
come check this out.
Yeah, I wish that would happen more often, but she doesn't seem to be pressed for good ideas. They're flowing right now.
They're flowing.
Yeah,
I love
you gotta muscle in to get her attention when it comes to songwriting.
So look, all these great experiences, you guys have done all the Grand Ole Opry, you got to do that. You got the Tonight Show, Kimmel, Today Show, Good Morning America, Dallas Cowboys Thanksgiving Day. I think we did some sort of thing like that. Fun. I was really upset that they didn't have turkey for us. They had chicken Fried chicken. No.
Interesting. We had turkey.
Yes, because you guys are,
You know.
great. ACM, CMAs, People's Choice Awards. Any good memories here? Favorite green rooms? Favorite situations?
Oh, I don't know. The green rooms, I'm sure you know. They all look the same. Every loading dock looks the same.
I know.
You know.
We don't really see. Jim was like, "You haven't seen Mount Rushmore?" I was like, I haven't seen the Grand Canyon."
I haven't personally been to the Grand Canyon. I have personally been to Mount Rushmore once.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's certainly some performances that stand out.
Yeah.
But yeah, the minutia, the daily stuff, it's crazy how it does kind of run together.
Now, what do you do to keep your sanity? Are you a workout guy? Are you a reading guy? Or you go find the local coffee shop guy?
Definitely find the coffee shop. I try to stay in a practice routine. It just seems like a thing that you can occupy amounts of time on the road. Yeah, working on the hands.
The pads.
And constructive way to waste time.
Yes. So you don't get into death scrolling and all that kind of stuff.
It happens.
Yes.
I'm aware that, there are better ways to keep your mind.
I'll do it. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
There's an hour. What am I doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. It sucks.
Yeah. I should get into some kind of workout routine though,
Well, you're just naturally lean.
I thought you were about to say strong. I was like, that's awfully generous.
You're naturally lean. And thank God I didn't wear that jacket today because I have the same jacket.
Is that right?
Yeah, you just throw it on. It works, man.
This is Old Faithful.
Yeah.
I was thinking the same thing.
Does Carhartt make a jean jacket type thing?
Of course.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a canvas.
Yeah.
It's durable.
Now, what's the deal with that company? Is it like a Dickies kind of like workwear?
Yeah.
Is that how they started?
Durability. You want to go out and, work on the ranch?
Yeah.
Do some electrical work, get up on ladders and crawl through attics. This is the clothing to wear.
Oh, yeah.
Carhartt at Tractor Barrel. Did I say Tractor Barrel?
Let's get
hybrid advertisements here.
Let's start a store called Tractor Barrel.
Well, we had Eric Pritchard on the show, Megan's drummer, and he was talking about getting barreled. You know about his getting barreled thing?
No.
He loves Cracker Barrel.
Okay.
So he goes around and he eats at all the Cracker Barrels in the country, and he takes a signed 8x11 and he has them framed and he puts them on the walls at all the Cracker Barrels.
Okay.
And they're in black and white.
That's awesome.
So they look like part of the decor.
Do people not stop you? They're like, "Oh, sir, what are you doing?" And he goes, "No, I just make sure that there's just like a little empty space on the wall, kind of away from folks." And he has one of those stick-em things, the two-sided tape or whatever it is. And
Nice.
so smart.
The closest I think I've done in past bands, remember when Starbucks used to sell CDs?
Yeah,
Sometimes you happen to leave 5 or 6 in there.
that's really smart. But it's got the but they couldn't run it through the register.
No, obviously not.
It was just for grassroots marketing. Yeah.
Whatever happened.
Oh, that's smart. So are you a Starbucks guy? Because there's a Starbucks right there.
It happens to be the closest coffee shop to my house.
Meow.
Oh yeah.
Did they get
I
your
don't know
name
what
right?
that's about.
Because I'm always Mitch.
Rich has noted that the cup says meow and there's a cat face drawn on it. I have no idea what that's about.
I don't know. Maybe there was a girl that thought you were meow.
Hard to say.
So did they do that on purpose by chance?
Get your name wrong?
Yeah.
Well, I have a friend, Stockton Helbig, and he is a drum set instructor at the University of North Texas, and he used to tour with Maynard Ferguson.
Oh, nice.
So there's an on-campus Starbucks, and what he does every day, it's his viral post that he puts on, and he just takes a picture of the different names he gets. He goes to the same place every day, and they have never gotten his name right. Stockton.
Really?
Interesting.
No, it's like, Stickman or Stock, it's always wrong every day. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Crazy.
It's
I don't know what, I don't get Starbucks enough for them to screw up my name. So
Yeah.
you're always Mitch?
9 times out of 10, I'm Mitch. Yeah.
How do you get Mitch from Rich? I understand the obvious.
Yeah.
But R and M.
Unless I'm a mumbler. I don't know.
I think it's part of like the game within the game. They're going to put something other than your actual name on
It's
that
a-
ticket.
it's a thing.
No matter what. Yeah,
It's like putting a picture up at Cracker Barrel now.
I guess.
It's going to become like an internet sensation of some sort. Virality.
Yeah. Now, I was looking here that you went to Loyola in New Orleans, and I was thinking to myself, well, maybe that's the connection with Lainey because she's from Louisiana too.
She is. She's from northern Louisiana. And and the way that state's shaped, it's not all that close to New Orleans.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think she did like that detail that we've spent time there and appreciated it. Yeah.
Did the whole band get hired as an ensemble?
No, definitely not. We kind of came one by one.
Huh.
Oh,
And
wow.
who's the first to be hired?
So Aslan, the guitar player and the band leader, he's been playing with her since before she was signed. They were playing bars together.
Nice.
I didn't come aboard until 2020. She had recently gotten a record deal. My brother was the year before me. Tommy, our bass player, was the year after me. He also did some subbing. So, yeah, it was kind of one by one. And then we have the fantastic Sav Madigan, who plays really any stringed instrument.
Anything with a string.
Sings her butt off.
I love those guys.
Yeah,
Oh,
she's been with us for over a year now.
that's awesome.
So, yeah, we're up to 5-piece backing band. Yeah.
And you guys don't have a dress code. You're allowed to be as hip and crazy as you want.
All we've ever been told is, look fitting.
Yeah.
So the sky's the limit. She doesn't usually dress down on stage,
No.
as you know.
It's an event.
Yeah. So it can be a high bar,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, it's not like a dress code or anything
Yeah.
like that.
You're not required to wear bell bottoms.
No, I would say encouraged, but not required.
Very
it's
difficult.
hard to play drums in
It
bell
is.
bottoms.
Oh,
The
because
pedal
you
gets
get
stuck
hooked on
in
the
your
pedal.
yeah.
It would totally get stuck.
Yeah, it's happened at really inopportune times before.
Oh, I hate that.
Yeah.
So she is, speaking of all the engagements going on, she just got engaged 2 days ago, apparently, huh?
She did. It was last week, yeah.
So are you expecting to get invited to hers?
I'm not sure, It's
just-
it's whatever it is. We invited her to ours, said, "Hey, I understand there's 1,000 reasons why this might not work for you, and that's fine."
Yeah.
But,
Did you use maybe some Catholic guilt in there? But, don't. Would love to see you there, but we get it. Do what you need to do.
He's doing an impersonation of his
My mother.
mother. Yeah.
Yeah. My mother used to do that.
God rest her soul.
God rest her soul. And I can actually say that and it makes sense now. But there's my mother was the kind of person that would be like, "Oh, where you going?" I grew up in the Northeast
same,
with a
yeah.
cigarette in her mouth. "Where you going?" "I'm going to go out." I could be telling her, "This is the best thing that's ever going to happen to me. I imagine this event is going to be played in the scenes you see before you die. How you see your life flash before your eyes. I anticipate this event to be one of those things. This is going to be so monumental, and I've been so looking forward to it." "Oh, good, because when you get back, we got something to talk about." Son of a bitch! God, we had to ruin it.
Yeah.
So you could, it's effective
Right.
for people who don't know that they're being, rickrolled Catholic style.
Catholic guilt. Catholic girls. Little Frank Zappa. Hey,
Yeah.
so what did your parents do? I'm sure they were supportive. Yeah.
Very supportive. Neither were musicians, both music fans.
Yeah.
Dad had a big record collection. Mom always had the oldies station on. And at the time I was growing up, that primarily meant we were listening to music from the
50s.
late 50s and 60s.
Yeah.
So Motown, Memphis, Muscle Shoals,
Little
LA,
American Pie.
Wall of Sound, Beatles, all of that.
Yes.
British Invasion. That was always on when we were riding around with Mom. So it was really their listening and their enthusiasm for what they listened to that this music thing must have emerged from my brother and I.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
with your brother, I mean, you probably had some family bands pretty early on.
We did. We struggled to find some guys that lived nearby to play with. But once I got maybe like late high school when we were starting to drive each other around, we found some guys and started, playing at coffee houses and, church events, whatever we could find.
Yeah.
We would go well out of our way to play music in front of people
Yes.
and continue to do so for many years.
Yeah. I love that. And I love hearing about that because, not to sound like the get off my lawn guy, but I usually say one thing per episode that sounds like get off my lawn. But, the crazy kids now, they're like learning just how to DJ.
Mm.
And it's like, I like the idea of like just being passionate about a musical instrument and working on this craft and then finding the people to get into a room to do the thing. And then you're like, yeah, play the school prom. Heck yeah. No, 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 no.
Yeah, man. But no, that's the attitude, right?
Yeah.
Whether we were under rehearsed, whether we had one too few people on stage, whether we were too novice to be really executing the music in the set. Like when you're that age, it's just, cool, get me in front of people with the drum set. I'm there.
Yeah, there's something about when you add that audience into the room, it just gives it purpose and it focuses, and it's like, I'm sending this out to you, baby.
Would you do that? You'd actually identify somebody? Would you play to somebody?
I like to play. Do you pick people out?
Yeah.
Every once in a while, yeah. You definitely do. I've seen you do it.
Yeah, you pick people out, and that way, everybody in that area it kind of feels special.
Right.
Because they're like, wow, he's really focusing on it.
Ever tell you my Tico's Torres story?
Is this when he was playing with a screwdriver in his hand instead of drumsticks? Or
what?
I don't know. What story?
What? No.
There was one time where he didn't have drumsticks.
Did you have a drum?
I think he was auditioning for the band or something, and he picked up like 2 wrenches or something.
No, I had a guy. Well, we saw Bon Jovi at Mandalay Bay.
Yeah,
and because of my connections in radio, on this particular tour, Bon Jovi had like side stage access where they would platoon people up, and they got to hang out for about 20 minutes on either side of the stage and watch the band up close. And John would come by and high five people and stuff. And Courtney and I got to go up there, and she was in front of me, and she was a huge fan of John Bon Jovi. And if you mention this, she'll point to her arm and she's like, this is where he sweated. Right. But the whole time, like I was just watching Tico play, and he and I just locked eyes. And it's like one of those things where you kind of look at somebody, you're like, hey, and you kind of, look away and you're like,
he just kept looking at you.
He was like,
just lasers,
just burning holes through the back of my head.
Something must have been going on in his brain. He was kind of looking in that direction. He was probably thinking about what he was playing. I wouldn't take it personally.
No, I didn't take it personally. It was just kind of off-putting.
Yeah.
Which, something I need to do is get off-putting.
Oh, Jim, give yourself a good. I mean, these are dad jokes to the extreme.
Really
I think you have a doctorate in dad jokes.
I was waiting for it.
Do you know our buddy Tony Mora? He's like a great session drummer here in town. He's been here 30 years. Anyways, right up the road in Franklin, he was the first cat in Nashville to take his garage and turn it into a world-class recording studio.
Okay.
And like he was in Mix Magazine, and all these producers in Nashville were like, they had it out for him, and they were sending him like mean messages. Hey man, you're ruining things for people. He just was a visionary. He saw that that's where it was going.
Yeah.
John Bon Jovi recorded vocals in his studio last week.
That's a good reason to reach back out to the haters and be like, what were you saying?
Yeah. Because, as commercial studios are demolished.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal to have a celebrity go to someone's basement to record something.
Yeah.
It's very common.
Because it's like now they're getting so more accessible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then again, I'm biased because I've been around celebrity for a majority of my professional life.
Yeah.
You got to get used to them.
Sure.
You got to put your pants on one leg at a time.
But when you do,
and make gold records.
Yeah. Hey, do you have a place for you to kind of make some noise at the house, or they do a little recording?
Yeah, I have a converted garage,
That's what you did.
Yeah.
So is it completely soundproofed?
No. The exterior walls have been modified so that hopefully it's not so obvious what's going on.
So and the doors don't go up, or if they do, it's just another wall in front of it.
I wish. Yeah, it wasn't a massive space to begin with, so there are very obvious things that most studios do that we were just going to lose too much square footage on. But yeah, reducing the amount of volume that leaked out into the neighborhood seemed like a useful and a polite idea.
There's got to be a level of forgiveness from neighbors if it's during the day.
Yeah. Yeah, they're all pretty cool. We're close with our neighbors, and the house closest to that room, there's folks that rent that. So really, we kind of lucked out. If they had a problem with it, I'm not sure they could really affect much.
Oh, that's good.
But no, more lucky, that everybody's just cool.
Everybody's
we look
cool.
out for each other.
And more than anything, it's
awesome.
more of like it's sending a smoke signal out into the universe. Come rob me. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Think so?
Yeah. So it was important to us to be a little bit more discreet about it. And I can hear 2 other musicians on our street. You know what I mean? So you're never far.
I heard the first garage band the other day across the street in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
It was a guitar. It must have been a kid with his drums and a guitar player just having a ball.
Now that just warms my heart.
It really does. Because that's where we came from. That's where I came from.
Yeah, man.
In a garage.
Totally.
And those guys play, as long as they can decently play, it's not annoying.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'd imagine that even if it's loud, but hearing somebody play their instrument tastefully, you don't really mind it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as long as it's not gratuitous, I'm not banging away at midnight or strange hours or at 6 in the morning,
10 to
it's
6,
like,
10 to 6 is nice.
2 a.m. is kind of when I want to practice my blast beats.
it's a fantastic time to practice.
Exactly.
My favorite time to practice. But the way home life is right now, that's not the routine I've ended up in.
Yeah.
Little, Sepultura hour at 4 a.m.
Well, how
man.
many dates are you guys doing these days?
This coming year, I think we're shooting for 75-ish. The last 4 years, it's been considerably more.
Yeah.
The year we were out with you guys, we were somewhere up near 150. Then it was like 180. Then 150 again. Last year was 120.
But the 100-something was in a van. You guys went to the bus in 2022, right?
Yeah, that sounds right. Okay. Yeah, I believe so.
So that's when she really kind of hit, was around that time?
Yeah, we had our first, I say we, she had her first big hit while we were on the road with you guys.
Yeah.
Because I remember the moment we found out it went number one, we had a cake, and I remember there was guys from y'all's band and crew in there celebrating.
Just eating all the cake.
Yeah. I remember I offered someone, I was walking around, they were like, invite all the guys. And I was like, hey, do you want cake? And somebody thought I was making a reference to something else. They thought it was code for something. I was like, no, we literally have cake. Would you like some? I was like, man, you've been hanging out with y'all's band too long. Most people mean, do you want a piece of cake?
A cake. Yeah.
Cake has a different meaning now.
I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, it was a steady climb from there. I was around the first times we noticed people starting to sing along. And then when we started noticing people singing along to songs that hadn't been radio singles.
Nice.
And you just start observing this evidence that things are kind of coming together.
Yes.
And we're all
It's
we're all
more
really
fun
grateful.
when they're singing along.
It does. But I mean, and that as well as anybody, when the songs are doing good and the albums are doing good, and hopefully the record label and management are feeling like things are going okay, it takes the pressure a little bit off of what you and I do.
Yeah.
It's not unheard of for various people or things to get kind of assessed as part of the problem.
Yes.
So yeah, it's great when things are just going
smashingly
well. Yeah.
Our sing-along song back in my days with Connecticut White Bread.
Jim,
was the
every episode.
The esteemed crowd favorite, What's Up Your Butt? That was the sing-along.
Oh, I'll tell you what's up my butt. Just went to go get to my physical today, and I told the guy, no.
Man, I'm not even sure how much of that was made up.
No, that's not made up at all.
Okay,
All
that's true.
He did play it in
I
kind of
figured
like,
we were going half and half.
He played in kind of like an early rap rock band in Connecticut.
Okay.
Yeah.
They were like, I guess you could probably say an early version of what Limp Bizkit became.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
People still love that stuff. They do.
Yeah. Well, I could never ever see at the time, like, how are we ever going to play arenas with this kind of a band?
Yeah.
The songs that we had were absolutely disgusting.
But you would have had to tour relentlessly, and you would have had to get the support of a label, because all that machinery has to come together to.
Never would have had. We were way ahead of our time.
Yeah.
It never would have happened in '94.
Well, it's good for you to think of yourself, hey, we were first on scene.
That's right.
We were too early.
And it's still, people still like, some of the fans still like going back, and it's on YouTube. You can listen to all the songs.
Yeah.
I mean, when we say that, but,
when we cut Hicktown and it was drop D tuning, and I'm riding on crashes and slamming rim shots, I'm like, I don't know, man. This sounds dangerous. I don't know if people are going to like this. And now it seems polite.
Well, Jim, I was going to say that genre got a little bit of a shot in the leg. In the last couple of years, it might be time for you guys to consider a reunion. Yeah.
It's actually been discussed, and my wife is like, dude, the kids can't see you up there. You were 18 at the time when you did all that. 19.
Wow. Jimbo. 18-year-old Jimbo.
I know.
Body for life, Jim.
we had a bunch of songs.
Yeah.
Fat Bow, Cornhole Utopia. Gosh. Can I even say the one that's about, why not? Your Chin is My Ball Rest. That was that was our ballad.
Well, that's a great place for him.
Yeah.
It's really nice. I really don't see Lainey cutting these, but
Well, actually, that ties into this next thing I'm seeing. Did you play on the Wiggles' new album?
I did not.
Okay.
No.
wait a minute.
What?
There is another Matt Nolan. He's a cymbal designer.
There's a handful. There's the cymbal designer, Matt Nolan, who makes some unbelievable sounding stuff.
Interesting.
I've not talked to him or played any of it in person.
Yeah.
And then there's another cat in town. Matt Nolan's a keyboard player and a songwriter.
Yes.
Yeah, and we've had to get to know each other over the years because we've ended up with each other's checks before.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And there was a time where we were both playing for people on Broken Bow.
Yeah.
And so, you gotta be
This
straight
is
up.
hit music.
Right. The reason why I ask about the Wiggles, another
gotta be
story
honest,
here, is Lainey is featured on their next album.
Oh, wow.
That
Wiggle-
doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
No, I didn't have anything to do with that one.
Lainey is doing an incredible amount of collaborations. I mean, she's singing with everybody.
Yeah.
There's like Jelly Roll and it's Hardy or, just all the cats. And then do you guys do some of that stuff live where you put some of these voices on track?
We've never put voices on a track. We do usually play at least a few of those in the set.
And she just sings the whole song.
This past year, she just did a medley of all the duets, and it was during her solo acoustic moment.
Wow.
So she just,
That's smart.
rearranged the things to make sense, just her.
And that's a good time for you guys to go pee if you want to go pee.
Great time to use bathroom. Yeah.
I love that.
And then every once in a while, I've been lucky these people would, happen to be in the same place at the same time and come up and do it with us. And
Which is nice
always cool.
because in a short amount of time, your resume has exploded because now you have performed with Jelly Roll. You have performed with all the cats, man,
Technically, yes. It feels like it's, kind of a by default, but
Yeah.
technically, yes.
It's great. Hey, man, we had a whole episode where we kind of me and Travis McNabb were just totally riffing on like, when can you claim someone and put them on your resume? And I say, like, look, is there another Matt Nolan that has played with Jelly Roll? And the answer is no. and you were on that stage and you deserve to be on that stage and you provided the serious backbeat for that guy to do his thing. That's going on your resume, dude.
Yeah. It depends on what the situation is, but it has before. It doesn't always.
Yeah. I like that. Now, tell me, when did you get formal training? Like, reading music, rudiments, all that kind of stuff? Were you in the school band?
Yeah. I had a brief foray with the school band, like, third grade or so. Played trumpet for a couple years.
Oh, yeah, great.
And
Like Greg Bissonette plays the trumpet.
does he? I
Yeah.
didn't know that. Yeah. That didn't take, and I got out of the organized band stuff for a while. Got back into it in high school, this time percussion.
Yes.
But I was playing drum set on the side before that.
Yeah.
And that always held my attention. But by high school, it was like, cool, if you want to play in the jazz band, you got to play in the other band.
Yeah.
And that means you need to be able to read. So started working on that.
Does that help you with you ever scribble out some little charts to help you get through something last minute?
Yeah, absolutely. I wasn't much good at it. And by the time I got done school, I was a decent reader. But
Yeah.
Yeah, it still comes in very handy.
Page 38 of the syncopation book.
Sure, man.
That one,
Yeah.
Well, I'm just assuming that, Johnny Vodakovich at Loyola would be, pushing you in your reading and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so the way it worked when I was there, you usually studied with Johnny like your junior and senior year. And it was a guy named Wayne Moreau you took lessons with freshman, sophomore year. And he was more of the technical instructor, and he would make sure your reading was up to a certain level.
Yeah.
And if you held the sticks poorly like I did, you'd get an earful about that once a week.
Yeah.
By the time you were with Johnny, it was like very stylistic, approach-related stuff. We did a lot of listening. We did as much listening as we did play.
To the history of New Orleanian music.
Yeah. And, it's, there's a lot of specific things about the New Orleans style, but somehow it's not super technical. You need some technique to play that material, but,
Then you throw it away.
It's not like a very, I don't know, classroom oriented kind of thing. You learn by watching guys and hearing guys do it. So the most I ever got from Johnny was sitting right next to him while he's playing.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy.
And then would you take advantage of that environment and go down and watch Herlin Riley and
Of course,
Stanton and
Yeah. Saw Herlin 3 or 4 times. Whenever he was playing with his group or with somebody at Snug Harbor, that was like the intimate jazz club in town, he would usually start the show with a tambourine, and his band would be on stage playing. He'd walk in from the back playing tambourine.
Awesome.
And there was times where he would take a solo on the pipes, you know, on the wall behind the stage.
Smart.
Slick.
Like that.
Slick.
Did you become friendly with Stanton?
I met Stanton a handful of times. We're not buddies, but I've seen him play, oh man, I don't know, probably 20, 30 times. Now that I think about it, it's been way more than that.
Yeah, man.
I've probably seen Galactic 20 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
then
used
he
to go
bought
watch Stanton all the time.
He is part owner of Tipitina's, I think.
I know. I heard they made sure that place stayed open and that people learned the history of that club. And yeah, they've been really great to music in that city.
Dude, I love New Orleans. Great. Incredible place to visit. I don't know if I would live there, but
it's awfully hot and humid for a lot of the year.
Yeah.
And weather-wise, you're pretty much you can count on some hurricane shuffling.
Did you ever have the fried alligator?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's just tastes like chicken.
Yeah.
A little tough.
Can be. Yeah.
I had that for the first time in Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
Now, is it Baton Rouge or Rouge?
I've always heard Baton Rouge.
Rouge, because I've heard it like Bruges with a hard G.
Baton Rogue.
Rogue. But with Baton Rouge, I did a lot of filming down there for a dealership. And it was always kind of nice because in the afternoons, probably during the day, you'd always have like a pop-up thunderstorm. Yeah. And then it would clear out and you'd get that kind of post-thunderstorm sunset during the spring typically. And I'm like, I said, it's kind of gloomy at times. I said, but your sunsets are spectacular.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, it's not because of, the environment. It's because of all the refineries that are just like, putting stuff out into the atmosphere. It makes the sunlight just look really cool.
That is funny, buddy. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I will say this. I miss those cotton candy sunsets in Los Angeles, man. Oh my God. Every night.
We get some spectacular sunsets here though.
You could get some cotton candy stuff here.
Yeah.
But it's like, you can count on it every night. Craning brontosaurus palm trees, and then the most beautiful cotton candy sky. And you're like, I don't want to be anywhere else right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're on a hot streak right now with LA. It's rained the last 3 times I've been there.
They need it.
Well, yeah. But by all accounts, it's not common.
Yeah. Now, where were you guys playing out there? I bet you guys did a small little show with all the suits at the Troubadour. Did you ever play there?
I played the Troubadour with Maggie Rose one time.
Yeah.
But this last Lainey show was at the Greek.
No,
and that was my first time there. It was pretty cool, man.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
That had to be awesome, man. It
was great.
Yeah. I saw Blondie there.
That's amazing.
Yeah. It's like 10,000 people or something. It might be less. It's a smaller Hollywood Bowl.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the bowl has become the bucket list out there. This year, our LA show's at the Forum.
Oh,
which
nice.
is really cool. The history there. It's like, it might as well be called the house that Fleetwood Mac built.
Yes. We were all set there to play there. The weekend before, the weekend after the Vegas stuff.
Man.
So we never did it, but maybe we'll do it at some point.
With Jason, I'm sure he can kind of, if he wants, whenever he wants, they'll make time. They'll cancel a game for you guys.
We'll see, man. But
they don't even play there anymore. What am I saying?
What's that?
The Lakers don't play there anymore.
Oh, no. Where do the Lakers play, buddy?
Want me to find out?
Yeah.
It's
Get on the Google later.
Crypto.com arena, right?
Yes.
Is it?
Staples Center.
Unless formerly Staples Center.
Crypto.com arena. Not catchy.
Crypto.com. I use them.
That's not
Are you into crypto at all? You guys get into that?
Not a ton. No, just a little bit about it.
Yeah.
But I've never tried to buy or sell an NFT.
I've never done that. I've bought and sold crypto.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got into it back when in 2018, I think.
Yeah.
And it was like just jumping through hoops just to get. You had to go through like 3 or 4 different levels just to make a purchase.
Right.
Yeah. We're still early, guys.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, I can't afford it.
Bitcoin's on sale.
I know, but I don't know how much for one whole Bitcoin?
Right now?
80 grand?
80 some, yeah.
It's 80 something right now. But you can buy a Satoshi. I'm looking it up. So a Satoshi is are like the nickels, dimes, quarters of $1. The subdivisions. So they're called Satoshis. Subdivisions. And there's 100 million Satoshis in each Bitcoin. So you can buy a bunch of Satoshis. Stack those sats, as they say.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. So you could buy a portion of a Bitcoin and eventually aspire to be a whole coiner at some point because there's only 21 million of them.
Right.
So.
Let me pay my taxes first and let's see what happens.
Hey, hold out. You might not have to.
I know. Maybe there won't be an IRS.
That'd be great.
But I do want my Social Security.
Okay.
I do. I mean, don't you?
No.
Oh, man.
No.
I want it.
I hope you get it too, because we're all,
because I think you either have to pick your Social Security, or if you have an income that exceeds it, you can't have both. You got to pick one or the other, from what I understand. So I'd rather exceed my monthly income.
Well, I think we all would, but yeah.
Yeah.
But
it's not going to amount to much by the time you get it.
But as like a Hail Mary, I would love to have it as an option.
Yeah.
So tell us about this new record, brother. You are on the new record, because I was listening to all the new tracks. I'm like, everything is so tight and dry, and it's just a whole different approach. I wonder who played on this. And I was like going through my idea of like, because I know how every session drummer in Nashville kind of approaches thing and sounds, and it's you, man. Congrats.
Thank you very much, man. And
pretty cool to hear yourself on the radio, right?
Yeah, that was a trip. I have to first say and give a shout out to Fred Eltring.
We love
it was the
Fred.
two of us. And a lot of what you're hearing may or probably is Fred playing.
Yeah.
And because of the two drummers thing, my responsibilities song to song kind of changed around. And so on one tune, it could have been a very Augs Perk kind of role for me. Maybe I was playing a kit where we ran it through effects. And so it was a dry kit, wet effects kit thing. And then there's five or so songs on the album where it's two of us playing drum set wide open.
At the same time.
And there are 5 specific songs on the album where our kits were right next to each other, not baffled. So basically bleeding into each other's
How
mics,
fun.
sharing rooms, all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was great, man.
That is so fun. And the snare drum choices, I mean, some of them were like and then some of them were they're cranked up, but had like this nice overtone. And then sounds like one of them was maybe like your little jungle snare that you have, like super tight with like a jingly type thing on it.
Yep. I can think of exactly the one you're talking about. Yeah. The precedent they've kind of set is more organic kind of drum sounds.
Yes.
So older, bigger kits with some muffling, tubby kind of, kicking toms.
Yeah.
And then, like a fat, but like maybe slightly dampened snare thing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Jay Joyce. So you do it at his place.
Yep.
And you enjoyed the process. It was like, it wasn't one of these looking at your clock, watch kind of a process.
Absolutely not. I mean, first off, the material that she kept bringing in, because we didn't have these tunes to live with for very far in advance. They sent us some stuff.
Yeah.
A couple days before.
But that's good.
Yeah.
Because then you don't overthink it.
Exactly. You don't want to come in with too much of a roadmap, because then it becomes this unlearning challenge when somebody wants to change this thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's helpful to be slightly familiar with the tune, but not so much to where you've already made decisions that are going to get overruled.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, no, Jay's brilliant. Lainey's amazing in the studio. She's one of those people who really, really enjoys being there.
Mm-hmm.
And she just, she's like creatively totally in the zone,
Yeah,
when
she's
we're
just
studio.
so nice and outgoing and enthusiastic and sincere. She sings great, and she's got the whole image thing. She just doubled down on that thing with the bell bottoms and all that. It's like, and she's the tender age of 32.
Right.
I mean, it's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
It's really good.
But so, yeah, to answer your question, man, it was definitely not boring time there.
Yeah.
And the pressure's on. Not everybody has their road guys in there, so we definitely understood what we had to do.
Yeah.
to be invited to come back the following day.
Yeah. And it happened.
Yeah.
And then the next day.
But you get this because you've been doing this for quite a long time with the band you tour with.
Yeah. It's very nice to wear both the hats, because then there becomes a pride and an ownership that it goes deeper, because
Yes.
you're not just regurgitating.
Exactly.
And
It would be
Yeah.
difficult to find somebody who cared more about Jason's record
Yes.
than you do.
Yeah.
And you're going to play in such a way that stems from that,
But at the same time, and in this musical economy and the idea of having a steady job in the music business, if your only job is to regurgitate at a high level, still pretty good.
Oh, man.
It's a pretty good job.
Yeah. No issues there.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's
Well, that's
It's a good
cool.
situation.
And your parents got to be super proud, because they can go crank up the radio. That's my son.
I guess so.
It's my son on the drums. That's my sons. My two sons.
Yeah, my mom tells me when she sees Lainey on CMT or when she hears us on the radio, things like that.
Yeah. My mom will call me. She's like, I heard your tambourine on the latest Trace Atkins song you were telling me about. It's very loud in the mix. I like it. It's just nice. It's like, it's like I'm playing a tambourine on beat 4 and my mom is proud of me. So
Now I got to bring up, the obvious. Recently we had the Grammys.
yes.
Yeah.
And, Beyonce was in the category that Lainey was in.
Yeah.
A lot of people, there were mixed reviews and reactions, let's say, on, what had happened in terms of a little bit of controversy, I guess you could say.
Sure.
What was her take on that? I know we talked about it before the show, but, can you speak to that at all?
Yeah. So I saw her about a week before. We didn't perform, so that those of us in the backing band, we didn't go. But yeah, and she told me, she's like, it seems like Beyonce's going to win. And I was like, yeah, this is unbelievable category this year. It was Beyonce, Post Malone, Casey Musgraves, Chris Stapleton, and Lainey.
It's insane.
Yeah. So if I'm not mistaken, well, let me just say things I can feel sure about.
Yeah.
All those people deserve Grammys, and most of them have already won them,
Yes.
Lainey included. So the company in that category was like kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, she was like, I wouldn't get your hopes up. I'm pretty sure Beyonce's going to win this. And she felt really good about that.
Yeah.
She's so supportive of this movement that's been drawing new listeners to country music.
Yeah.
And diversity and women in country music.
Yeah.
She's a really, really strong supporter of, shaking things up.
Yeah.
And it reaching people that it didn't used to.
Yeah.
So.
This
Yeah.
is the music of the people. Modern country music is the new rock and roll.
Well, and like we half absorbed rock,
Yes.
and pop got the other half.
Yes. Yeah. Because, modern rock is kind of in the shitter. It's a rough period for modern rock. I listen to the station, the buzz or whatever, and I'm trying to keep up with the stuff, and I can't tell the bands apart, and it's just rough. Where's the Stone Temple Pilots and the Soundgardens, and it's in a slump,
Right.
and we have taken all the fans, which is a good thing.
It just evolved,
Yeah.
But
I mean-
again, getting back to the Beyonce thing, I could see what you're saying, and I love the fact that she was like, from
Heck
from
yeah.
afar, she was happy for her. But it's so funny to watch the reactions when they called out her name. Even she looked shocked, like, really? I'm getting one for what I did in country and not my main genre. Okay,
Yeah.
because that was her first time.
She ends
right?
up with both of them, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big win. She's got a
Yep.
Yeah, man.
Crazy.
lot of statues. I wonder where these people put these statues. You know what I mean?
On a shelf.
Yeah.
A shelf like you see behind us.
That's right there.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, I think it usually happens in the order of trophy and then shelf.
Right.
I think you end up putting a shelf the best place for that trophy to go. I don't think you put it on a shelf that was already there.
It's like where Michael Scott would put his Dundies.
Right.
I used to have a whole shelf full of my awards. I have no idea where my awards are now at this point. I think they're in a box in my closet.
Yeah, I've been trying to downsize and do the feng shui and just be a little bit more minimalist. Remember when we interviewed Peter Stormare, the actor and musician? He played in Constantine, with Keanu Reeves. He played Satan, and he was the guy. He came down. He was like covered in mud, and
it was all in white.
He was all in white,
Yeah.
which was not the obvious choice.
No, but he's the perfect pick for that.
He was the perfect pick, but he goes, I have no art on my walls. I have very minimal furniture. He goes, I don't even have a junk drawer. So if he doesn't, but that's so hard to do. What happens when you're looking for a stapler, when you're looking for a scissors, when you're looking for, some pens?
Yep.
You got to have some of this stuff.
Yeah, I don't think I could go without a junk drawer.
A catch-all.
It's a catch-all.
I would be pretty impressed with Fallon and I if we could do without that.
Yeah, man.
I don't know where we go.
Speaking of actors at the time of this recording, how about Gene Hackman?
I
95.
just saw that on the way here.
They said it was a carbon monoxide. Oh, like he may have been from a carbon monoxide poisoning.
Was it really? Because his wife and his dog they passed as well.
Well, because that would have to be, makes sense.
It does make sense.
I have the carbon monoxide.
But he was 95 years old.
They had a great run, man. He probably would have kept killing it.
I know. You're taken out by carbon CO2.
You got to have the alarms in your house.
We have them.
Yeah.
Yeah. You?
That's terrible.
I got them, yeah.
Yeah.
I just put the alarms in the house, the smoke alarms where you don't have to change the batteries for 10 years. They don't need anything. They're not going to chirp for a decade. But when that 10 years comes, it's going to be like that episode with Phoebe where she's trying to stop the chirping fire alarm and she can't figure out how to do it.
Are they nickel batteries or lithium?
I don't know. I just had the handyman do it.
They're Energizer.
Chris Swanson. If anybody's looking for an amazing do anything handyman, Chris Swanson. Now, if you're looking for a garage door or if you're looking for LED lighting, then you have to call Jim McCarthy.
That's right.
That's right.
But are they ever ready batteries or Duracell?
I don't know. The finest that money can buy. I'm sure.
Costco brand? This is the portion of the show where I try to make it as boring as possible.
Oh my God. It is tanking.
Well,
I didn't get
I
to-
should say too, if I'm the guest on here, that's not a great sign of life for this whole thing. You guys,
Well,
it was great while it lasted.
No,
the good interviews you guys had, we're all very grateful for. But
It was so good. We have to kind of balance it out now, and that's my job.
okay,
well, what was I? Oh, I have still not gotten around to watching any of, it's all overwhelming. Yellowstone and then the 1533 or 1890. I haven't watched
1883, 1923.
So she was acting on that show, and did you get to
Yellowstone.
play drums too? Right?
yeah, on several episodes.
Now, were you able to get your SAG card as an actor?
I was. Well, they offered. We're in this in between.
You could have been Taft Hartlead. That's the process where the producers will say, "Hey, this kid, let's get him a SAG card," and they just push the paperwork through.
Okay, I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah.
but yeah.
But if they were willing to do that and are still willing to do it, you should get that card.
Yeah.
Because then when you're in there, it's just a good thing to maintain because you will be paid in a certain way as a SAG member. Are you a member of the union, the AFM?
Also, a kind of in progress thing, but
Gotcha.
soon to be hard yes.
You might as well just do that because the thing about Tennessee, which minimizes the power of the union just a little bit, is the fact that we're in a right to work state.
Yeah.
So I think me and Tully are the only union members in our band, but then we say we have to go do the Today Show. It's a union thing. You get paid through the union, but it doesn't mean that Tully and I are the only ones that everybody gets a check
Yeah.
because Tennessee is a right to work state, but then Tully and I have to pay work dues.
Right.
No one else does.
Okay. I thought they still had to pay their non-member dues, but you guys that are members are the only ones.
Yeah, we have to pay our
eligible
membership
draw
dues
this
and we have to pay
pension.
our work dues. So we end up coming out. But then if we die, we will have a small funeral benefit fund.
Yeah, which I've been told is rock solid again for a while. So.
And then we have a pension,
Right.
which is
that's what I was talking about.
yeah, the pension is that's hard to get that dollar amount up. Let me tell you, some of the old school guys, like Eddie Bears, Lainey Wilson, Chad Cromwell, Greg Morrow, Paul, these guys, they're going to have an insane, because they were in the heyday of the velvet rope music business.
Right.
Guys like you and I who were like kicking and clawing and scratching, and the phone rings, session, I'll be there. It's harder to add up because it's not twice a day every day.
Right.
But those guys had twice a day every day. God bless them.
Yeah. No, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And it's a shame that there's not as much of the recording and therefore the union work that's around. But
now, do people send you tracks?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's not primarily how, like, for example, this last break we've been on, I've been mostly in the studio.
Yeah.
Whichever
Great.
studio that happens to be. But yeah, people do send me stuff. And
that's good.
We're all set to.
Now, don't undercharge. Make sure you charge a good rate because you're worth it.
Right.
Because there's guys out there that are undercharging, and it's a race to the bottom.
Man. Yeah. Pretty soon I'll give you $20 so I can put my name on something.
No, I'm telling you, you are Lainey Wilson's drummer. You deserve your whatever rate it is, you deserve it.
Thank you, man.
Look at that. See, right, Jim?
That's right.
We're going to get these paydays up. Okay, so, hey, Jim, why don't we do is it time for the Fast Five?
Yeah, but they're no longer fast.
They are never fast.
Right. We can switch things up on the fly and make it the funny five.
Well, it's always funny.
It is funny. I have a bunch of funny questions in front of me.
Okay. Then why don't you try shaking it up?
Want me to shake it up?
Shake it up, bud.
All right. We got the funny five. Is cereal soup? Why or why not?
Ooh. I don't know. I tend to think no. I'm struggling to come up with a reason to specifically back that up. I know there are cold soups. I guess it's not so much of a vegetable thing,
right?
Cereal, and that's why
it's a dessert. It's a breakfast. I don't think you can have a soup as a breakfast.
If you leave it out long enough, it becomes soupy, and that's disgusting.
Well, because everything dissolves in it.
Gross.
How many holes does a straw have?
Oh, crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
That
really depends.
That makes your brain, doesn't it?
That's like those riddles that people, post memes of that go viral, and you're like, I don't know. I need a little more.
What do you mean? There's two holes.
Is there?
There are two holes.
Or is there one?
Ah.
Right?
Crazy.
Wow, it's one long hole.
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
No.
No?
Nope.
Those are two different things you could be in the mood for at any time.
What's the weirdest smell you've ever smelled?
Ooh.
He's on a tour bus all the time. There's a lot of
I
smells.
was about to say the loading dock can be a little crazy.
Yeah,
I don't know.
can see that. A wharf.
We blew up a fuse one time. We tried to replace a fuse and put an incorrect one in a PA head. At my parents' house when we were rehearsing in the garage.
Ooh.
And some of those electrical smells can be kind of wild.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
How many questions did I ask?
3.
3? What's the funniest joke you know by heart?
Oh God. I don't know if I know any funny jokes by heart.
I'm not the traditional set up, deliver, memorize this guy.
Yeah.
I just try to be situationally funny.
Yeah, I guess I try to get satire, sarcasm, that kind of thing. But I'm a terrible joke teller. Tommy from our band he could go rapid fire right now.
Tommy's got a talent.
He'd crush it. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I got nothing.
Let's see. Toilet paper, over or under?
Over.
Has to be over?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my fiance is the opposite. So you can tell who changed it. We switch it back and forth. Yeah, it's
Over. You pull it down.
exactly.
But sometimes
What other way would you do that?
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to do the mullet with it on the back.
I thought you were talking about the wiping pattern, over or under. Jeez.
that would be how do you wipe?
I was
So
going to
is
say,
that-
I hope the listeners understand that I understood the question.
It's amazing.
Yeah, that
I had
could
to
be
really,
crazy.
Now, Jim treated himself to a bidet.
Ah,
I don't know how I got this far in life without knowing about that technology. That it's wonderful.
But he's using cold water. I would use hot water.
I don't think you want to use
Okay.
hot water in that situation.
Not hot.
Yeah. Warm.
Warm.
Cold's fine, though.
Okay.
It saves so much toilet paper.
Wow. I can't believe we're going here. Favorite color?
Are you just reverting back?
Well, we're going to try to do it fast.
You guys can unpack the rest of that in a future episode. Let's say yellow. I got a yellow drum set on the road right now.
Yeah, yellow?
Yeah.
Nice.
There you go. Okay, fast.
Taxi yellow. Favorite drink?
Favorite drink? Topo Chico.
Oh, nice.
Coffee. I drink so much coffee.
And meat.
Yeah, man.
So many cups. Favorite food or dish?
Really anything with noodles. I'm there.
Oh, yeah, like
Italian food, Japanese food.
and then what's the
Korean food,
what's
anything.
the stuff where they break the quail egg and then there's the noodles and then it's a hot soup.
Man, I'm not specifically
Ramen.
sure.
Ramen.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I've never had ramen with a quail egg. I love ramen.
Yeah. Well, you know the egg breaks and the yolk
Yeah.
kind of
You got
gets
to put
in
the
there.
egg in it. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Favorite song of the moment or all time?
One that comes to mind is "Gimme Some Lovin'" by Spencer Davis Group.
Oh yeah.
I love that song. I always
did. Oh.
yeah, all the sounds on that recording work together in like the best way. Steve Winwood singing. He's like 18 on that track. He might not even be 18.
Wow.
He wrote it, sang it, and played organ. He's killing.
And I believe he might have a place here, Steve Winwood.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I think I maybe have heard about
Or
this
either that
before.
or his merch company is here. What he either lives here or his T-shirts are warehoused
One
here.
of the two is bound to be true. Yeah.
Okay, well, favorite movie of all time or of the moment?
Of all time, we're tied between All the President's Men and Moneyball. I will never turn either of those movies off. I'm scrolling through channels in a hotel. One of those is on. That's
Now,
what
All
we're
the President's
doing.
Men, wasn't that Dustin Hoffman?
Yeah, Dustin Hoffman and Robert Redford.
And Moneyball came up recently, didn't it?
Somebody else mentioned Moneyball
Yeah.
recently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great movie. I'm a big baseball fan, and what happens in that movie, the facts that it's based on,
Yeah.
it's crazy how that is
Billy Bean.
basically taken over the way baseball managing happens now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are you the guy that memorizes all the stats and all that stuff?
No, not so much. I try to keep current with our record and who's in first and all that sort
And
of
then
thing.
pro or college?
Pro.
Okay. Because
I love watching college baseball, but college sports in general, there's so many teams to keep track of. It can be kind of
like
tricky.
Aldine is like college all the way. It's like college football, college baseball. Well, he also likes the Braves and
Well, he's a big Georgia fan.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
See, from Maryland, Maryland basketball was huge. We followed that really closely, and we still do.
Yeah.
Now, who's the baseball team that you like, pro?
The Washington Nationals, and they weren't there when I was a kid. We just had the Orioles, and we had the Orioles while Cal Ripken played for them, so that was great. But then, other than that, we always rooted for DC teams, kind of over Baltimore teams. Not that there was a animosity, but once the Nats came back in, I believe, 2004.
Yeah.
Well, you know who I have a
Got
phone
back
call.
into it.
I have a call with tomorrow is Brett Saberhagen.
Hmm.
You know?
That name sounds really familiar. It's a Moneyball thing, right?
No, he was a World Series pitcher, a World Series winning pitcher from 1985.
But Tully is in charge of his
He's on the board.
501.
Okay.
Save his wings. You see me wearing the hat every now and then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you interviewing him?
They might be doing a podcast.
Ah, look at that.
I got to meet them back in October.
That's right.
Wonderful people. He and his
Yeah,
wife.
I met him at someone's wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, you go to meet that guy, and the first time we saw him, he's got like really piercing, steely blue eyes.
Mhm.
And then you see him in his element, which at this point is in that, the wine country of California. So he's all into, ranches and horses and stuff like that. He dons a cowboy hat, man. He looks like the real freaking deal. It's crazy.
I can't picture me on a horse roping and riding. Us like, I'm from Connecticut. You're from, that part of the country.
I've been instructed to wear a hat plenty of times, but I have never ridden a horse in my life.
You mean as far as like in a video put on the cowboy hat?
Yeah, for whatever occasion.
Yeah. But you guys
Sometimes-
also, a lot of you guys wear those hipster hats, those Silver Lake hats.
Guilty as charged. Yeah.
I pulled up that picture of you. It's a side profile, and you got the hat on.
No, it's good.
Right. Yeah.
Like a Zorro hat almost.
I can't pull it off. I can't. You guys crush it. I cannot do that.
Thank you. I feel kind of like a fraud if I'm wearing a proper cowboy hat.
Yes.
Because that's like, it would purely be a fashion thing. I didn't grow up with rodeo. I did not grow up on a farm. I have respect for those that did. You know what I mean? So,
what was the Indiana Jones hat? The fedora.
Yeah.
Need to bring that back. You could probably pull that off.
There's definitely guys doing it.
Yeah.
His was like leather, right?
Something like that. It was iconic.
Yeah, it was.
But it was, I've been doing the scally, wearing the scally lately.
That newsboy.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll either, it's my third job of
Get your papers here.
selling newspapers. Read
Those
all
are
about
awesome.
it.
Yeah.
I tried that very briefly because Lowell George from Little Feat used to wear them sometimes. And I was like, oh, maybe I can get away with that.
Yeah. Because you can.
I don't think I ever found one that looked right on me.
Yeah.
But, other people, it looks really slick.
I got the extra large,
Yeah.
and my black one is an extra large, and it fits my head. It's a little tight, but then I had to get the XL for the 2XL for the next one because it was way too small for the XL.
Okay.
Because I have a 2-foot melon.
Jimbo, you're funny, buddy. So
Giant head.
Little Feat, it makes me think of Richie Hayward. Do you like a Richie Hayward fan?
Huge fan. Yeah,
So,
he's one of my heroes.
Who are your other drum heroes?
Richie, Jim Keltner.
Nice.
There's so many. All the jazz greats, specifically, Tony Williams and Elvin Jones occupy a lot of my listening time. All the great, rock and roll drummers. Ringo and Charlie and Keith and Bonham.
That is so nice to hear because we get no one dropping Tony or Elvin's names in here.
Oh man, I'm still trying to figure out what to do with.
Boom. The big yellow kit that with the black dot heads that Tony Williams played.
Exactly.
Such power.
Yeah, it was amazing, man.
He was rocking. Had that fusion stuff that he did with.
Exactly.
Whoa.
Well, the fusion thing that accounted for a lot of our listening for a long time. We were like specifically into that. And then the straight ahead, the interest in that jazz came a little bit later.
Yeah. The
But
Tony Williams
what Tony-
Lifetime, that
Yeah,
shit.
man.
Oh my God. And then Elvin is like, again, he is like a bashing, passionate. He is not soft.
No, definitely not. And it's really emotional. Yeah, it's
like a trip to
powerful
Africa.
thing when he plays, man. It's crazy.
Like you are in the motherland, like when he plays. It's insane.
He's in touch with something, man. It's unbelievable. But yeah, and then, Gad, Porcaro, all of James Brown's drummers, Purdy.
Yeah.
I spent some time in Muscle Shoals. It's where my fiance's from. So, Roger Hawkins, man.
Yeah.
Al Jackson from Memphis. Like, I try to be aware of all of it,
Yeah, I can hear all that stuff. And you let the microphones do the work. You got a nice touch. Drums always sound great. You incorporate percussion, you emulate the loops. And you're one of the only guys I've seen in this genre that has a China/swish set up correctly.
Well, there's some other influences there. Mel Lewis. And I believe John Riley and Peter Erskine both did the swish there because they watched Mel do it,
Because Mel. So Mel would get, Jim, Mel Lewis was like a great big band drummer, and he would play at the Village Vanguard every Monday night. Right. And his whole thing is he was a quiet big band drummer, very, very mellow, but he could drive all these guys. And then when it would go to like a soli section, which is like, say you get all the saxophones and they're playing this whole section in unison, he'd go to the swish.
Yeah. Yep. It's got this smoky sound.
Yeah, you got the rivets in it too.
Yeah, 20 rivets in it.
So it's not like he's bashing it on the upbeats like Carmine or Billy Cobham. Because you're just kind of letting it.
Well, and I love the more rock sounding Chinas.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem to be the most fitting sound for Lainey's music.
No.
But the swish, surprisingly, like if I have room for it, there's not a gig I play that is out of place on. No. You can't use it too much, but it's a really dynamic cymbal. Whereas the other Chinas I've had, you kind of got to pick your spot, and then that's what that moment is about,
Yeah. My China is it's just fast white lightning, and it's obnoxious, but it works in our crazy band.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's obnoxious. It does a different thing, you know,
And it's the highest,
you got opportunities
way up there.
to utilize that, you know.
It's the outfield thing. And I remember getting my first Wuhan China. The year was probably like 1985. I'm practicing in a garage with my band, and I'm just waiting. You know, Josie's on a vacation far away. Sha sha! Oh my God!
Exactly, man.
Loved
and
it.
some of the like those '80s Stones records, where I think Charlie was using that UFIP
Yes.
China symbol. Man, that thing sounds crazy.
Yeah. Have you seen the
Sounds so
Stones
good.
with Jordan live ever?
I have. We opened for him this year.
I would have opened with this.
Nah, man.
I would have been like, "Hey, Rich, have you heard that we opened for the Stones?" So where and when was this?
I was in, I think June, Soldier Field, Chicago.
Lainey Wilson. That's so cool. Did you go backstage and talk to the guys?
Didn't get to talk to the guys.
Damn it.
But we did watch them. The deal was they had a closed off sound check, right? There wasn't supposed to be people out watching that.
Yeah.
So mysteriously, like we all had, you know, things we had to accomplish on that main concourse that looks out over the stage. They sound checked for their entire allotted time. This was the second show of a 2-show run at that venue. And so there was little reason we could see for them to be sound checking that day for 2 hours. All this to say, like, I get the sense they really like doing this.
They just like playing.
They like playing. And they go through so much material live. You know, maybe they had to bone up on some stuff they hadn't touched in a while. But, man, it was just magic watching them sound check.
Wow.
And, yeah, Reggie Washington and Steve Jordan, man, were just trucking the whole time. It was crazy.
What did they used to say that so it's Mick and Keith Richards who are left of the Stones, right?
Yep.
Bass player's gone as well.
Yeah, Bill Wyman is not usually touring with them, but I think there's some shows here or there that he pops up and does.
Okay.
And Chuck Lavelle was playing. He's been touring with them for like a really long time.
But the original bass player departed from the.
It was Daryl Jones for like 20 years.
Sorry, that's what I meant to say. What did I say? Freddie Washington?
Yeah.
Right. Sorry, Daryl Jones. Yeah.
So
Daryl
people
and
say,
Steve.
well, hey, you know, Mick and Keith are left, and then Paul and Ringo are left. I mean,
Yeah.
come on.
I see what you're saying. A super band?
Yeah.
Man.
It's the Beatles and the Stones,
Oh, dude.
right?
Yeah. Chuck Lavelle was that keyboard player that I played that TV show with, you know, with Paul Rogers and Leanne Rimes and
Okay.
Slash. And he was the band leader that day. He's the band leader for the Rolling Stones for like 30 years,
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
if not longer. Crazy.
I did not know that.
Small world.
Yeah, he sounded great, man. And they just, you know, like I said, it seemed incredibly sincere what they were up there playing. And they had Lainey sit in for a tune.
Oh, my God.
It happens to be like one of my all-time favorite
Which
tunes.
one?
There's Dead Flowers off Sticky Fingers.
Wow.
You know. and
I
it
was thinking
like-
that she would do that. Can't think of the tune right now, but it's always where a guest female artist joins them on that song.
Oh, interesting. See, I'm not sure which tune. Are you talking about Gimme Shelter?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, that would make sense.
That would
'cause of
totally
the-
make sense.
Okay. I
Like
see.
they even let Fergie up on stage to do that with them at one point, you know.
I thought you were doing like AC/DC.
Oh! row your boat! Oh, God, what a great band.
Yeah.
Damn.
Incredible.
Incredible. Just
The
like
Jim Brewer bit.
not a
that I did.
16th note in sight, all just praying to eighth notes. Just
That's right.
Yeah.
fucking awesome.
You ever see the bit that Jim Brewer does? Like, he talks about parenting. He says, the only thing that when you have kids is the music. You got to stop listening to your music and you got to listen to this awful music. And it's like, sky is blue, yet He's like, bring buzz. Okay, I get it.
And then Barney.
He's like, and these guys in these metal bands would be great if they just did kids music, man. He's like, it would be fantastic, you know. Angus Young and Brian Johnson from AC/DC, and like, and he starts doing the. You got to watch it. It's probably better.
He is good.
Yeah,
you had to be there.
You had to be there.
Totally. Hey, so 75 shows this year.
Yeah, man.
It's already happening, or is it about to?
We leave for Europe in 2 days.
I love this one. We're catching everybody right before they do the thing.
Yeah, man. So then we kind of kick off.
And so in Europe, are you playing like football stadiums? What are you guys doing?
It's pretty mixed. We're hitting a bunch of different countries on this little run. We're there for about 3 weeks, and I think the shows in the UK. I don't think that was the correct thing. Some of the shows are part of a festival.
Yes.
And so I think we'll be rotating through the C2C thing.
Yes.
So we'll be rotating through those with a whole lineup. Those will be some bigger venues.
Yeah.
But I have no idea what size this place we're doing in Paris is, or we're starting in Zurich. I don't know. A lot of these places.
Going to Paris to play country music. It's awesome.
Yeah, we kind of show up and observe how big she is there,
Yeah.
And so it might be like 1,000 cap one night and a real big one the next night. It's a lot of fun.
I'd love to go to Paris, man. That'd be amazing. I don't know if I can do it on my dime, but I mean, if I get there on somebody else's dime, it'd be great. And you're definitely going to be able to get your noodles.
Right, right. Yeah.
Noodles of all types.
Sure, man.
That's right.
Dude, I am just happy that I'm happy for you, and I'm proud of you, man.
Well, thanks very much. And I want to be sure to say this, before you guys kick me out of here. First off, thanks again for you guys having me. But Rich, especially, thanks for what you do for everybody.
Oh, man.
Thanks for what you've done for me. You were somehow one of the first real cats in town that I met. And I think you've basically found me. Everybody I talk to who's coming up, they'll say, oh, I just talked to Rich for the first time. I'm like, yeah, of course you did. You're a great connector of people.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, we all owe you for that. And to your crew with Aldine, the time we spent with you guys, for those who have never really had a reason to interact with the Aldine crew, they're the best, most professional group of experienced pros you could ever meet. And so we learned quite a lot spending that time with you guys.
Well, thank you.
And we still say in conversation, we're like, well, Aldine and them, they did it this way. Maybe we should look into that.
Wow.
It had a lasting effect on everybody.
Well, I just got chills because I really feel like I said at that time, I was still kind of suffering mentally, and I didn't feel like I showed up enough for you. So,
well, like I said, man, we were in the van most of that tour anyway. So
yeah,
I wasn't physically there for you to show up and talk to.
Well, man, I'm just super happy for you, and I'm going to try to get you this full Sonar deal here.
Oh, thanks. I'm cool on that one, man. There's some other stuff you could help.
Well,
me
let's
with
talk about
sure.
that. Is that heads?
I would love a head deal.
So, are you a Remo?
I've always played Remo heads. Yes.
Yes. Chris Hart, we need to make this happen.
Rich, I could use a DW deal.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
Well, let's see what this little tribute band does for you.
That's the CSI sting.
Oh, I love that. Oh,
very poorly timed.
Oh, man. Well, that is so sweet, man. Thank you so much, buddy.
Of course, man.
I'm just like, I just love people coming in here, and I just get to publicly say congratulations, and then I'm proud of them because this is not an easy thing to do.
Appreciate it. There's a lot of luck involved, but like I said, I got some really good advice, and I got to watch some people who have some real pro level experience.
So just promise me that now that you have the platform, that you are going to keep helping the next generation.
I'm trying, man. If anybody wants to talk about any of this, I'm here. You know?
What's the best way for people to find you?
I check Instagram pretty regularly.
Yeah, so slide into your DMs.
Yeah, man. At Matt Nolan Drums, and whatever anybody's got out there, if I can help, I'd be happy to.
I love it, man. Thank you so much for being here, bud.
Absolutely,
have a great year, man. I can't wait. We don't start till May, so
that's awesome, man. I hope we see you guys out there.
I hope we get to do it again and do it right without the COVID.
Yeah.
Jim.
Yeah.
Great kid, right?
That's right.
Days of the prime of his life. 36 years old, getting married. He's got a great gig.
That's right.
It's awesome.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, man.
Thank you, man.
Yeah. It was great to meet you.
You too.
Had a fun week, Jim. We knocked out like 4 or 5 episodes this week.
I know. We got like 500 of them in the can.
We've got them in the can. We love it. Hey, and to all the listeners, we appreciate you guys and gals. Be sure to subscribe, share, rate. and review. And I am imploring you, please give us a nice 5-star rating. We know you're out there. Even you trolls, give us a 5-star rating. Helps people find the show. All right, we appreciate it. We had a great time. Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Jim.
This has been The Rich Redmond Show. Subscribe, rate, and follow along at richredmond.com/podcasts.